Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Layla. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to write a complaint letter. Right, so first let's look at what is a complaint letter. Think about this. You go online and you buy a hairdryer from Amazon. You're very excited. When it arrives, you plug it in, but it doesn't work. Now that's very disappointing, isn't it? You're not happy. You want to complain to someone about it, and you either want to get another hairdryer or you want a refund. You want to get your money back. So a letter of complaint is a letter that we write which informs the recipient that we're not happy about the situation, we're not happy about the product that we've received, or maybe we're not happy about a service. And when I say recipient, this word here, recipient, that means the person who receives the letter or the person who reads the letter once we've sent it. That's what we mean by recipient. So that's what a complaint letter is. Now, a complaint letter is made of specific parts, and we have to include all these parts, and they have to be included in a specific order. So a complaint letter is a very formal letter. So when we open and greet our letter, we have to use very formal vocabulary. In the very first sentence of the letter itself, we have to give the reason for writing. We have to say specifically and straight away why we're writing this letter. We can't start off by saying, I hope you are well, or anything like that. No, the first sentence, straight in, why are we writing this letter? The next paragraph, you're going to give a very brief description of the situation or the product that you've received or the service that you're not happy about. So we need to tell the recipient what happened, basically. Why are we unhappy? In the next paragraph, we have to tell the recipient how we want them to solve the problem. So what can he or she do that will make it right, that will make us happy? So once we've said that, then we close the letter and we sign off. And like I said, a complaint letter needs all of these parts, and they have to be written in this specific order. Now, it's very important to keep the letter formal and very polite. Although we're very upset, we're very frustrated, we have to remain polite when we're writing. So we talked about opening and greeting. A complaint letter is a formal letter, we've said that, so our opening needs to be formal. Now, sometimes when we write to a company or a person, we might not know the name of the person we're writing to. That's okay. So we start the letter, we open the letter with "to whom it may concern." And as you can see, every word that I've written has to start with a capital letter. To whom it may concern. That means I don't know who's going to read this, but whoever's going to read this letter is written for you. Basically, that's what it's saying. Or, in the case of our example, Dear Amazon Customer Service Assistant. Remember, we're writing to Amazon because the hairdryer is faulty. It's not working. So, Dear Amazon Customer Service Assistant. That's fine. Again, every word starts with a capital letter. Dear Manager. In these examples, we do not know the specific name of the person we're writing to, so we use their title, maybe their job title. Sometimes we might know the name of our recipient, so we will write their name down. If we just know the surname, we'll say, Dear Mr. Brown. If we know the full name, we will write the full name. But in a formal letter, we will never only write the first name, like Dear Sarah. We'd never do that because then that would be an informal letter. And as you can see from all of my opening phrases that I've used, at the end of every single one, there is a comma, and that punctuation is very important. There needs to be a comma. Okay, so now we have opened the letter. We said the first sentence that we write has to be the reason for writing this letter. Okay, our very first sentence, we give the reason. I'm writing this letter to convey my disappointment when a hairdryer that I had bought arrived broken. Let's look at the vocabulary. So firstly, I start by giving the reason. I am writing this letter. That's why I'm writing this letter. I am writing this letter to convey. Convey is a verb and it means to show. To show my disappointment, I'm very disappointed when a hairdryer that I had bought arrived broken. That is the reason why I am writing this letter. Other ways of starting the first sentence could be, I am writing to you with great concern about. Great concern meaning I'm very worried or very upset. I am writing to complain about. So any of these is correct and appropriate to start a letter of complaint. So we've given the opening, we've greeted the recipient, we've given the reason for writing this letter. Now we're going to give a brief description of what happened. I bought the hairdryer off your site 3 days ago. I paid $34.99 and an extra $5.99 for packaging and postage. When it arrived, I plugged it in to test it, but it failed to work. I believe it is faulty. Now, because we're describing a situation that happened in the past, as you can see, bought, paid, arrived, plugged, failed, all of these tenses are the past simple tense. They all refer to what I did when the product arrived in the past simple tense. My only present simple tense is here. I believe it is faulty. And the word faulty means it doesn't work. Instead of saying I believe it is broken, we say I believe it is faulty. And because we're trying to stay polite, we're not going to use aggressive language. We're going to say I believe, meaning I think there's something wrong with it. Okay, so our recipient knows exactly why we've written the letter. It's very clear from the start, and we've also given a brief description so the person who's reading knows what the story is and what's going on. Now I want the recipient to fix the problem, and I have to tell the recipient what I want them to do for me. I would appreciate you looking into the matter so as to ascertain the cause of malfunction. Kindly either replace the broken hairdryer or refund my money back. Okay, so here I'm telling the recipient exactly what I want them to do. I start off again very politely. I would appreciate, instead of saying please, I say I would appreciate you looking into the matter. To look into the matter means please to investigate, see what the problem is. So as to ascertain, so as means because. So as to ascertain the cause. To ascertain means to find out. Why? To find out the cause of malfunction, the cause of it not working. What's the cause of the problem? The malfunction. It's not working. Kindly, this is a different way of saying please again. Kindly either replace the broken hairdryer or refund my money back. So here specifically I'm being very clear and saying what it is I want. And when we want to try and say what it is we want, we use the imperative verbs. Any kind of verb that you want to use cannot have to. It cannot have ing, and it cannot have a modal like should, could, would, will, can. It cannot have any of these. It is the pure and simple form of verb, the imperative. So here I'm specifically telling the recipient what they can do to make me happy. Okay, so I opened the letter. I told them why I'm writing. I gave them a brief description of what the problem was. I've told them how they can fix it. Now, with it being a formal letter, I need to close the letter. I can't just leave it. I have to close it. Okay, and this is where I say I look forward to your response. I look forward to your response. There are other ways of closing, and they are I await your reply. Await is another way of saying I am waiting for. It's a formal way of saying waiting for. I await your reply. I would appreciate your immediate response. Please respond immediately. Please write to me at your earliest convenience. This is basically our way of saying ASAP. At your earliest convenience, which means as soon as possible. ASAP, please. Okay. So this is the final sentence to the letter before we sign off. And here we're letting the recipient know that we're waiting for them to get back to us and we expect them to get back to us. We're not just going to leave it and forget it. Okay. So we've closed the letter, and this is the part where we sign off. Now, how we sign off depends directly on how we opened the letter. If you take a look back, here, if you remember, we said if we don't know the name of the person we're writing to, we start or we open with these phrases. If we know the person we're writing to and the recipient, we have to use their name. Now, this is important to remember because depending on how you started the letter, if you know the name of the person you're writing to, we said Mr. Brown or Sarah McGee or anybody else, if we know the person we're writing to, at the end we sign off by saying yours sincerely. And this is only when we have used the person's specific name or surname. If we do not know the person we're writing to, and we started with to whom it may concern, Mr. Bank Manager, dear Amazon Customer Service Assistant, any of these, we end with yours faithfully. It's very important that we do not get these two phrases mixed up. They have to be written correctly. Okay, so now we have signed off. Perfect. Let's put it all together. Dear Amazon Customer Service Assistant, I'm writing this letter to convey my disappointment when a hairdryer that I had bought arrived broken. I bought the hairdryer off your site 3 days ago. I paid $34.99 and an extra $5.99 for packaging and postage. When it arrived, I plugged it in to test it, but it failed to work. I believe it is faulty. I would appreciate you looking into the matter so as to ascertain the cause of malfunction. Kindly either replace the broken hairdryer or refund my money back. I look forward to your response. Yours faithfully, Layla Pujafar. Now, I have ended yours faithfully because here I do not know the specific name of the recipient that I'm writing to. And that is how you write a complaint letter. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to either comment on my Facebook page or write a comment possibly under this video. And thank you very much for watching.